Hi boys, so I suppose we're just finishing off our chapter now on variation and mutation. So we've been discussing how variations are differences between cells or people or organisms. And we know some of those differences are passed on from one generation to the next, which we call heredity. And we know now that causes of variations can be mutations between cells. So we're just going to highlight a little bit about what mutation actually is and how it's caused. So the first learning intention for today, and number 7, was that what a mutation actually is. So our key word for mutation is the idea that it's a sudden change. So it's a change in the DNA. And sometimes it's in the amount of DNA, or sometimes it's in the structure of the actual DNA. And we're going to look at that in a moment again. So just to recap, variations are caused by mutations, which are changes. And very topical at the moment, I suppose we're all looking at the idea of the coronavirus, and people have been mentioning the word mutation. Will its structure change, and our bodies will be unable to recognize it again? So that word's very topical at the moment. Or even if they're making a new vaccination, it's really important that the structure of the DNA in the virus doesn't change, or otherwise that vaccination wouldn't work. We have two main causes of mutations. Sometimes it can be just natural. So the DNA of any cell can change, just kind of making a mistake itself. It could be faulty DNA. It could happen during DNA replication, where the new DNA made isn't the same. Or sometimes it can be caused by outside kind of agents, and we call those agents mutagens. So a new word for us again. You can almost see the word agent inside in that. So a mutagen is an agent that causes mutations. Sometimes those agents can also cause cancer, so we call them carcinogens. And carcinogens are caused by, examples of carcinogens might be ionizing radiation, so radiation that might come from the sun. We know how it can affect our bodies by causing skin cancer. Or it might be chemicals used in pesticides or preservatives, or it could be from tobacco smoke. And we're familiar, and you can see in the PowerPoint the idea of that causing lung cancer. And also viruses. Very topical once again was the HPV virus, which can cause cervical cancer. So any of those three things are mutagens. They cause changes in the DNA, and specifically with those three mentioned here, that these actually will get a specific name of carcinogens, that they are mutagens, but they're cancer-causing agents. And then just down further, you have to be able to describe mutations in what changes they can occur. And there's two types of mutations. There's a mutation where it can just harm one small part of a gene. So it might, like we mentioned earlier on in Chernobyl, knock out a nitrogen base out of the way and cause a change in the gene. For example, sickle cell anemia, cystic fibrosis, haemophilia, and albino are examples, or albinism are examples of that. So we know sickle cell anemia is where the red blood cells don't have that lovely biconcave shape. They're all squashed and can't carry oxygen. Cystic fibrosis, that the mucus stays in the lungs, the hairs aren't strong enough to push it out. Hemophiliac, the idea that they can't clot their blood, they can't make a factor to clot their blood. Or a person that's an albino, or albinism, where they don't make melanin, which is a protein they need to colour their skin, so they have no pigmentation in their skin or eyes or hair. The second type of mutation you can have is a chromosome mutation, or a number of genes have been changed, or where there's an actual extra number of chromosomes. And our example of that would be a child with Down syndrome. So it's usually created maybe from the egg. So when the egg and sperm are being made by meiosis, that chromosome number 21, that 2 of the chromosomes went into the female egg, so she ended up giving 24 chromosomes, and the male still had 23 chromosomes in his, so the child ends up with 47 chromosomes. Okay, I hope that makes it pretty clear, and that you'll have a look at the PowerPoint on this chapter as well, and I will post up your assignments and links on Teams. Thank you.